just going to look at head movement to start off with, and part of the reason why is because we're going to look at avoiding the cross and entering into a takedown position. A lot of what we've done has been based around the jab. So when Jay throws the jab, we're looking at that kind of stepping in, closing the distance, he throws the jab, we change our level, and then we come into a double leg. We've not really done anything with the other side, so we're going to start looking at that today. But a nice little drill that we've got is a slip drill as we're walking up and down the mats. So Jay's going to throw a jab, then going to throw a cross. I'm just going to slip on the other side. He then steps back, I step forward, slip, 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 slip. Make sure you throw into the head. There we go. So if I don't move my head, I'm going to get touched. Make sure your hands are closed as well. But just nice and steady, that slip, slip drill. Our footwork, as we're stalking someone down, tends to be a little bit more like this. Okay, so we're not really sort of doing big movements, it's just that nice steady progression, that nice steady and slow movement forward. So here, slip, slip, and then move. Slip, slip. Yep, so when we're slipping across to go for a takedown, there's significantly more risk. Okay, because that's usually their power arm, that's usually their power leg, and we're kind of moving towards where most of the damage can happen. Okay, if we're kind of always slipping on the jab, a left hook or a lead hook can usually be pretty powerful, but it's when you start kind of looking at the cross, we've potentially got some real issues. So we have to be comfortable with the full movement, but also the timing of the cross is really important. Okay, so Jay's going to throw the cross, I'm going to slip out on the outside. Now as I slip on the outside, what's really important is I've got closer distance. Okay, so even more than the jab, because we're also going into the power side, but also the far side. So our jab hand is the near side, the jab leg is the near side, this is now the far side. So we need to change our position and get closer really quick. We're going to do something called a cheat step. Okay, so we're going to ignore what I've just told you to do, where you go lead leg forward, sorry, lead leg first, reverse leg second. We're going to go reverse into here. Okay, so I'm going to bring it shallow so I can kind of get this inside leg nice and quick. Okay, so this is the cheat step. So slip into your cheat step, and then once we get into the cheat step, head goes into the ribs, so this leg goes behind the knee. Okay, so my reverse leg is taking a big step. So we're no longer in a deadlift position. Yeah, we're more like this. Okay, so we're just going to practice the entry to begin with. So slip, cheat, in, and that knee's hugging round the back. Head's always up. Even if I go to the front of the chest, my head's always up. Okay, don't get into the habit of looking down. Alright, but this knee's really important. Let's have it. Thank you. So slip, and then into this position. So you see his base and his posture is starting to break down a little bit. So, one, slip, cheat step, round. Okay, let's just give that a go. So we're going to just look at the finishing the takedown now, because I think this will really help us with the knee position and kind of what's happening. So similar to when we did a body lock and we came into here and we used our head and our hands to break posture. This is sort of what we're doing with that back knee. So that back knee is actually buckling their posture a little bit, and then my head driving in is where we get the takedown. Now, if we did this kind of full pedal, this is where we can get some good double legs. Not going to go straight into those big double legs today, but we're just going to look at avoiding the cross and then going into this kind of folding takedown. So same thing here, head in. Don't forget that little cheat step. If we stretch and we end up in this long position, it's going to be really difficult. Plus he's just going to bump me off. It's not a strong position for me to be in. So always working on that cheat step. Yeah, he's going to throw it to my head so it keeps me honest. Yeah, cheat step in, get your connection, okay? And then I'm going to step us back to the ground, and my head is always looking up. So now my ear's driving to take Jay down, okay? So, in, connection, and that knee's just going to help forward. It looks like he's selling it really well. I think he's secretly a WWE wrestler, but and I don't mind doing this on a couple of people as well, but that knee behind, it's like that awful kid at school who used to sneak behind and get his mean mate to push you over. Oh God, flashback. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing is you've got that mean kid pushing that other mean kid behind you, and this is why this is working. So slip, cheat step in, and then just fold. Okay, so grab both legs as well. I think that'll probably help a few of us rather than going to the hip or the body. Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3. Movement, it'll probably make more sense. So when I'm here, in and through. Okay, so if we go back to how we brought this down, and unfortunately with a lot of kind of wrestling, jiu-jitsu and even kickboxing, that people don't really realise it, they have to break it into kind of manageable chunks to get used to it. But the gold and the stuff that we're really after is that continuous flow. Okay, so even though I'm keeping my movement going, yeah, I'm still breaking everything down. Okay, so let's just quickly recap again, because there's a couple of us who are missing a few things. So in, cheat step, grab the legs. Okay, because even if you kind of bump them and do this, you're not going to magically kind of, you know, take someone down with some sort of weird kung fu movement. We have to grab hold of the legs, because that's what takes the person down. In, cheat step, next bit, my knee is pointing across. Okay, so I'm not hooking. It's a different takedown. Okay, we will look at those, but we're not hooking. It's into here. Okay, then the next bit is the head position. Looking up to the ceiling. Ear attaches to the body for that final kind of takedown. Okay, so now let's try and make it all one continuous move. Okay, so the difference with this takedown and the blaster takedown is when we land, we should be more side control rather than guard. And this is why this makes it a bit of a better takedown, because you're not having to mess around in someone's guard. We're already past the legs. Okay, so we're kind of jumping on top of them, trying to land into a side control after you've finished. Make sense? Slip across exactly how I've done. Yeah, I'm going to cheat step and then I'm going to drive Jay to the wall. Okay, so we're just going to get practice that a little bit to start off with. You know, because the wall actually, you know, can be our friend or our foe. And especially if we're fighting someone who's got really good striking, really good at working on the outside, we probably want to use the wall to kind of pin them and stop their movement. So if I'm getting bashed up by Jay and he's just, you know, being able to tee up on me, I want to use that kind of wall to, you know, stop his movement and drive him in and get into the same sort of position. Okay, so the knee's not behind the leg just yet, but my head posture is really important. Okay, so when he's driving as well, look, you don't have to try and put him through the wall, just get him to the wall. Okay, but my head posture is more important than anything else at the moment. If my head's down, especially against the wall, he's going to be pushing my head down and starting to look to get clear his hips and stuff. Okay, so our first position when we're against the wall is head up, hands on the legs, and a leg on the inside. Okay, this is going to help us retain the position a little bit. Okay, so the drill, slip, cheat step, drive, and then leg in. Okay, head looking up. Alright, we're just going to practice that and then start the hook jab. Yeah, it's still the same sort of thing of getting that connection. Okay, head's up. I'm lucky I've got a knee on the inside. Okay, but from here I'm really careful what he's doing with the arm on my head side. Okay, so if he starts wrapping over and doing this, it's going to be really difficult to keep the position. Okay, so now when I feel the wrap, so he starts to wrap, we'll take my head on the inside and get to this position. Okay, so my head's looking across and I've got my knee in the middle. Alright, so if I'm looking over to my left, I want my right knee in the middle. Okay, if he pushes my face, I'm going to switch my feet. Okay, so now I'm looking to my right, my left knee goes in the middle. Okay, so the drill, it's going to be either a jab or a cross. He's going to throw nice and steady. Yeah, I'm going to get my connection, I'm looking to my left, head's in the middle, he pushes to the right, switch into here. Okay, so we're just getting used to that switch, because a lot of kind of cage work is about the manipulation of the head. The person trying to push down, push across, so that they can clear the position. One of the main reasons we do this, so if I get to here and I try and look that way, it's going to be really difficult to keep control and you'll feel it. So if you're looking to your left and your left knee's in, it shouldn't feel as strong, okay? Head position's really key. Head's always up, okay? I never want to be looking down, because you'll feel in your neck it's not as strong, okay? As soon as you look down like that, you get a need and want to go down to the mat. Here, I'm keeping everything nice and strong. Everything on my neck is engaged, my traps are in place as well. I can bring my shoulders in to kind of tilt my head a little bit, just makes things a lot stronger, okay? So, the drill, take connection, yeah, so here, and just practicing that little switch, but this knee's going on the inside of his legs, pushing in a little bit, head's attached, and I've just got that hands on the legs to start off with. Okay, let's give it a go. 1, 2, yeah, starts driving me in. I start trying to push, and then you see a head position starting to creep underneath the chin now, okay? So this makes it a lot harder for me to move my head. If I struggle to move my head, then it's going to be a lot harder for me to manipulate hers, okay? So at the moment, she's been super nice. She's not headbutting me, but she's placed the top part of her head underneath my chin, okay? Anytime I try and move my head, she's digging that head into my chin. Okay, so her forehead actually goes into my throat a little bit as well. And this is what we call position 1. Okay, so she's gonna give me, fuck it, go 100. There, she's got her knee into this position, her head stopping my breath, and my chin moving. I'm gonna try and move my head on reset. It's that position, she's just gonna follow with that same thing. See how my hips start creeping up? Okay, because I have to try and relieve pressure, I have to go a little bit higher, and then this is where we then start looking at going into different positions. Okay, so this is phase 1. Okay, so without headbutting, she's going to do the same again. Yeah, she's going to slip, drive in, boom, try and turn, and then she's going to get into position 1. Okay, so it's really hard to do this nicely. Unfortunately, what you've chosen, the journey that you've picked, is not a comfortable one. Okay, touche. So she's going to put her head in there. I'm just going to try and move a little bit. You see how her head's always following? Shit. But this knee's really important as well. Yeah. So as well as the head position, don't forget your knee, because that's what's killing my hips. That knee being driven into this position is keeping my hip attached as well.
Where's the knee go? Where's the knee putting pressure on?
Fucking hell, like.
He's literally just holding him.
Yeah. Right. So it's just.
So my knee's just connecting to there to stop him moving.
Right. All right.
Do you know when he's turning his head and you're changing your leg? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I can, I am. So if it's going all the way across, I tend to change my leg as well.
Got to show again?
Yeah.
Okay, here. So she's doing the same thing. Even though she's not looking all the way over there, her head's looking towards the right, which means she's switched her left knee. Same thing, I start looking over here, she switches that knee. Okay, thank you. Let's stop that for some minutes. Okay, let's give it a go. But again, it shouldn't be like a kind of track, crush, kill, drive. It should be just head position and just good leverage that's keeping you in that position.
And you can feel the movement, that's how you know where to put your head rather than looking at it.
Oh, yes.
Can feel it.
And your soul slowly sat
Starts to drift out the
You
top
get a
of
bit
your
of a
body.
gurgle, that's brilliant.
There you go.
Sorry, Marie, you're going off the ball of your foot. Is that just to increase the pressure?
Yes, yeah. For me, that just, it keeps it stronger there then.
Any other questions? Cool, give it a go. 1, 2, 3.